This is Kinetic Seize the Day, coming to you on demand on YouTube, Spotify, and most other podcast sites. In today's episode, we'll be having Kris Crowley, the founder of Kinetic School of Performing Arts, alongside his team, Liz York and Emma Pawsey.
So here we are, yeah.
How are you, girls? How have you been enjoying lockdown?
Do you know, it's weird because we've done 12 weeks, haven't we? And at the start of it, it was like that initial shock. And like, remember when we finished work and it was like, what? This is so bizarre. And then everyone rallied and people were like chopping trees, hosing and pressure washing the patio, all of that.
Everyone bought a hot tub.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that, I have to say. I thought, I know, I'll do it later on. And I haven't done any of it. Cupboard under my stairs, if I open it, everything just, it's like that one in Friends, you know, when you open the door and it's like just So yeah, other than that, I'm good.
Nice. What have you been up to, Em?
Yeah, well, I was one of those ones that actually painted my fence outside in the first couple of weeks. Pardon?
It probably needed it.
Yeah, it did need it, love, and I ran out of paint because the paint was already there. But I've done absolutely nothing since, really. It's been, just staying away from the odd jobs, except when I had my mum up here, and then she made me do things that I wouldn't.
Oh, good. My garden's looking nice, mind you, I would say, because we had that lovely weather, didn't we? So
It's been stunning, actually.
Well, it's a really nice kind of like time for us to do this online chat show, because recently, obviously, we turned 7 years young, in my case. 7 years of Kinetic School of Performing Arts. That's insane, isn't it?
It is.
It really is insane, yes.
That's how she has a drink.
I can't believe it's 2 years since we did that insane concert in City Hall, to be fair.
Oh, that really small concert
my
that we
God.
did.
That's mental. Mental how the time's gone.
I know. But I suppose we've packed so much into the last 7 years. And, this chat show that we've decided to launch, the aim of, tonight's discussions really is going to be us looking back over the last 7 years of all our achievements, things that we've learned from that, haven't learned in some cases, and just kind of like looking back. And in future episodes, we will be having guests coming on, talking about like different things, different performances. So each week's going to have a nice different theme about it. But we got the theme of nostalgia this evening, haven't we?
Yeah, we struggled to remember all the shows and all the concerts and Pride and everything we've done. There was just so much, to be fair.
Yeah, a mountain to get through.
Yeah. Anyway, let's crack on.
Yes, so I was going to discuss a few questions I'm going to put to you to think about some of our history that we've done. So starting off, if you had to think about some of the musicals that we've done, and obviously we've done other stuff other than musicals, which we'll come on to later. But if you had to think of a show or a musical that has surpassed our expectations, what would it be?
Probably one of the ones that I think surpassed all our expectations was Footloose from a commercial perspective, because we didn't expect it to be as popular as it was. And it did get a great audience in every single night. That was probably
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right about that. But that was one of those shows, Kris, wasn't it? That we were like, should we do Footloose? Yeah, let's do Footloose. And actually, we hadn't got a clue apart from the songs we knew in it and a few bits and pieces in it. That was it. So yeah, it did. You're right, Em. For me, I suppose, from more in a creative, because you've got the two aspects in you, commercial, creative, and I suppose then also the performers and how they progress in the show. I'd say Jekyll and Hyde, because it was a completely different show to anything we'd done before. It was quite classical. The singing was quite classical, wasn't it? And in terms of the technique. And I think, Kris, it surpassed itself in terms of what you could do creatively with what the direction of the show. Can you say?
Yeah, I think we did a really good job in bringing the show to life. We had lots of different options in terms of, I remember when we were casting a Jekyll and a Hyde, we were like, do we cast one person? Or do we cast two different people? And I think
people were like touting, saying, "Oh, I can do both. I can do both."
Yeah, that
was the biggest headache on it initially.
Yeah, but I think visually, I think we managed to create a nice spectacle.
It was an eye opener for me, though, that even though I think it was one of the best of all the shows we've done, it's one of the best. I think there are quite a few that were amazingly good. But we just didn't pull in the audience. And I wish, if I had a magic wand to wave over people, it would be to make them try something different that they didn't know. Give it a go.
It was outside their people's comfort zones. Plug in a show like Grease. Everyone knows Grease. Everyone knows the story. People will come and see it. For a show like Jekyll and Hyde, it was a bit like, oh, is it risky? Can I bring, children to come and see it? Yeah, I'm not so familiar with the story and the songs. So, it was a shame that, not as many people saw it as they possibly could have. But I think from our perspective and from our performance, they got a lot out of it.
Definitely. It was worth doing.
Yeah.
What about you, Kris? Have you got one?
I think for me, I definitely think I think about the Youth Academy, really, in terms of Musical was a show that definitely surpassed our expectations. It was the first time they'd done a show with a live band. We were working on the show for a while, and it was, the adult version.
I know! You crazy brain.
I think that was probably when we applied for the rights. I just clicked the wrong option, probably.
We're going to do the adult version. Okay.
Musical now.
Look!
Oh.
Oh, there it is.
It's so young.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, all of them were under 14, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have been.
Yeah. And to do
Lauren Davenport was Cat in the Hat and Taylor, wasn't he? And they were both, still in Easton.
Yeah, yeah. So to do that with such a young cast, it was phenomenal. They just completely raised the bar with that.
Yeah.
I wonder, that was nice seeing that clip. I wonder if we've got a clip of Jekyll and Hyde just to remind us how that was.
Yeah.
We have, yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing if we could see that in a minute. Yeah. I'll shut up once it comes on.
And I think with Jekyll and Hyde as well. Wow.
Amazing. The only thing that would have been better there was to see Jade or Kaz in that thing we made out of the trolley that we wheeled her on, the delivery trolley. Obviously, creatively covered with beautiful red fabric, but
that took forever, didn't it?
I ain't getting in that.
I remember I had this idea of an airport or a hotel, luggage trolley. And I remember saying to Lorianne, can you find us one of them? I'm sure it would be really easy to do. And she was like, yeah, they're about 900 quid to hire. I was like, I've seen one across the road in a car park on the atrium. We went out and got it. And then you were decorating it with the fabric. And then James was like, I'm not getting in. I was like, babe, just get in. It's fine.
It was good though.
It looked really effective.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her. So I suppose moving on from shows that have surpassed our expectations, is there a musical that, thinking about, when we come to choose our shows, we choose them for a lot of different reasons. Shows that challenge us, shows that challenge the cast, shows that will pull in an audience, we factor in cost. There's so many considerations which people don't even see. But would there be a musical that you would never, ever want to do?
Shall I go first, Em?
Okay.
Get it off my chest.
Yeah.
Well, I've been asked this before, and I've always said The Sound of Music. Now, nobody out there, okay, I don't want hate mail. Don't be slandering me. Don't be sending me things on Twitter it's too long. It is too, there's that whole bit where they go back. They sing once, don't they, at that festival thing, and then they go back again. Cut. But I've got another one.
What's
Guys
that?
and Dolls. Where they fly off somewhere, don't they? Just know.
There's no need of it. No need of it.
There you go.
Feeling better? Feeling better?
Better now, yeah.
Yeah, good. This is kind of, I'm being a bit sly really in some respects, because I have done this years and years ago in one of the schools that I taught at, and I have been in the process of doing it again at a certain point. But both times, it didn't grow on me, and I don't think it will ever be something that I will factor into my life ever again, and that's Annie. I cannot warm to that musical at all.
Why is that?
I don't know. I used to love it when I was a kid. I used to watch it all the time.
Many years ago.
Recreate Miss Hannigan. Yes. Even at the age of 7, I was recreating Miss Hannigan rather than Annie. But I don't know. I just can't warm to it.
I quite like that film, the more recent film.
Oh, with Cameron Diaz in?
Yeah, I can't bring myself to watch that either.
But the thing is with a film, I'm the same with The Sound of Music. I can watch it on a film because you can fast forward.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kris?
Weird.
I think for me, I've always said this as well, and it would be Hairspray.
Yeah.
I just think that, I mean, which is quite, a current topic, in the news at the moment. I mean, now it's been announced that, casts of Hairspray need authentic casting. And I think that's really, really good. I mean,
that's what you've always said, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I just don't think, and I understand why schools and amateur groups have done this. They've cast it as, rich and poor or jocks and geeks and things. And I completely get it. But it's got some amazing songs in it. And the story is really good. But I think unless it could be done truthfully, I think, it's one to kind of like stay away from unless you can give it that level of authenticity. So it's not that I'm averse to doing it, because, the songs and the story is fab. I think you just need to have that perfect cast. And if we had that perfect cast, then, why not?
Yeah, fair enough.
Any legit ones you would do? Like, I know that's like more modern, but if you're looking at older musicals.
I would, do you know what? I've been listening to Kiss Me Kate a lot recently.
Yeah, it's good music, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've always said a few words about Kiss Me Kate in the past, haven't we? Big shout out to Miss Chappell if she's watching. I think it's one of her favorite musicals. And she's playing a punt for us to do songs from it in the variety show in the past. And I've always gone, oh, maybe. But
the year we did Singing in the Rain and Mac and Mabel, I really enjoyed that variety show too.
Yeah. I was with Charlotte Tonge and Alex Lewis and all them. Oh, and Singing in the Rain with those massive umbrellas.
Yeah, but let's not go there.
If there could be a show, which leading on from that, no restriction. So normally, it would be this time of the year, really, but the three of us would be like, right, let's plan our Christmas show. Or maybe we're looking forward to the spring.
No, spring. We just plan Christmas.
We're on all the different websites, MTI, really useful group, Rodgers and Hammerstein's, and we're all looking for what shows to do. But if none of the rights were restricted and any show was open, what would you want to do and why?
Well, we had endless finances.
Somebody else is paying for it.
Cool.
Sky's the limit and all that.
Yeah.
I think for the sheer spectacle, and probably some people will hate me for this, I do Phantom because it's a classic and it would be a challenge, and I think it would look amazing in the right venue, and that would be no problem with that because that would be paid for.
Yeah.
So definitely for the company, I would say Phantom, and then maybe for the youth. Probably for the same reasons, because I think it would be like the spectacle of it. I'd say, and obviously the popularity of it, the characters, and they know the songs inside out. I'd say Frozen.
Oh yeah, that would be good with the youth, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Chris would make a Lusho laugh.
I'm too tanned on it at the moment. I would do Moulin Rouge.
Yes.
I'd do Moulin Rouge definitely if I had.
Nice.
Oh, there's a clip of it now from Broadway, I think, or performing it on Good Morning America. It's just such a show. Do you know what I love about it? It kind of harnesses creativity, the bohemian spirit. I like to think I'm a little bit bohemian.
It's always been one of my favourite films as well, and it transfers really well to the stage, I think.
Yeah, and my mum will attest to this. I bought her the video for it for her birthday years and years ago.
The film, you mean?
Yeah, the film. And she watched it once and loved it. And then I stole it back, and I used to watch it like every single day. Yeah. But I'll let you into a secret. I always used to stop it at the last but one scene, so there was a happy ending. So
no way!
Yeah, when Christian landed on the stage and kind of like took over the part that he had written about himself, I always used to end it there, so there was a happy ending.
Yeah,
I've got a heart.
Interesting insight into Kris Crowley.
Yeah.
Well, I would go. I've got two. A bit like you, Em, with the more modern but classical. I definitely Sweeney Todd. Definitely Sweeney Todd. But I'd have to do it. I don't know. It's another one that's a bit too long, isn't it? There are some songs you could cut. Sorry, Sondheim, but there are.
Joanna would be one that I would cut.
You're not going to be popular with the tenors out there, but I'd probably leave that in for them.
Okay.
You know, but you've got to have those songs, don't you think? And you couldn't have everything on a high. You've got to have those moments so that it's a really impressive.
Yeah.
And we saw a fab production of it at Cardiff High, didn't we?
Yeah, it was amazing. Shout out to Sophie.
Yeah, she was awesome.
But the other one is everyone's talking about Jamie.
Yes,
So fun.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I love the message of it, and it's just that. I mean, talk about a positive ending. You know, that's fab.
Yeah,
Love it.
definitely.
Yeah.
Never grow tired of it.
It's got an amazing score as well, isn't it? You know, we still rocked the rehearsals with it blasting, didn't we?
Do you remember rehearsing outside?
Oh, yeah, when we did it in college. And there's members of staff walking past and they're like,
join in.
Rehearsing performing arts. Oh, wow.
And then we did it at Pride as well. Oh, no, of course, Pride. I haven't forgotten about Pride. How could you forget about Pride? But that was part of last year's set, wasn't it? One of the sets, one of the three. That was a really memorable Pride last year.
It was. I mean, it was the first opportunity that we got to do 3 separate sections. And I can remember, you know, we were planning to do one, and I think it was Rob. Big shout out to Rob Keach, Dr. Beck. He was like, "Oh, can you do another 2?" And we were like, "Yeah, that's fine." And I remember saying to you two, "We need to do another 2 slots." And because our rehearsal time,
rolling our eyes,
post Chicago is so short for Pride, isn't it? You know, in fact, we put on an hour's worth of performance at Pride in about 3 weeks rehearsal, putting it together. But I think, you know, we had a really nice mix between the 3 of us. We come up with a really interesting set, and the performers, as always, were amazing ambassadors.
Yeah. I'll never. Do you remember the rehearsal where I had a hissy fit and threw my folder on the floor and tapped? And then once you've done that, because you're in a rage, you're just like, throw it down, storm out, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go back in there now. What do we? Oh gosh, shout out to Morgan, who had a little squeal when I chucked it on the floor, and the others are going, oh, it's fine, she does that.
Be back in it. Ladies, and she'll be back in. But, and that moment at Pride this year, like, and Emma, you were out the front filming for us, and me and Liz were on the side with the performers, and it was when we were doing the Chicago set. And so we just, I think 6 happened first, I think, and like 6, everyone, and wildfire was insane. Liz was on stage filming bits, taking photos as well. And then the Chicago numbers happened, and the guy doing the sound, he was like, "Mate, there's no tracks on here, they're videos." And I was like, "No, we've used them before, we've done them on the radio, it was the same tracks, that good old memory stick."
No.
I was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, they're on my phone." So I whipped my phone out.
Wait, I'll be the performers.
So they were all ready to go. And I was like, "Oh, have you got a fluff?" And he just looked at me. He didn't know what I meant. You know, the adapter to go in the bottom of the iPhone.
Yeah, shout out to Taylor Paul, the fluff.
Oh, in that moment though, it was just so stressful. I was like, they're on their way to go, and it was like 30 seconds, but it felt like hours.
I don't know how you kept your cool and searched for the right thing on your phone. I would have got nonsense going.
I know how I kept my cool.
Oh no, it was like,
I know.
Oh, and the other one then was like Dixie's boot, the red boots.
Oh, costume change. Didn't we have a leg each?
We had a leg each, and it was so hot. He blasted and tried to pull these boots up.
It's not all glamour and glitz.
I thought she was going to have to go on with one boot.
Like a really quick costume change.
Sex is in the heel.
Only the one.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, don't.
But we're really lucky, you know, and we have done, Pride was one of our first gigs that we did. And I think it's really important to mention that, you know, we've supported them over the last 8 years. And it was one of our first gigs that we ever did. The first year that Pride was in the Millennium Stadium, which was an odd place to be. Yeah, and it was just like, and it felt very, very different. And we did some stuff from Rent and a few bits and pieces. We've been asked back every single year to perform on the main stage, which is amazing, and it's a huge honour for us to do that every year. And looking back over the years, we've had some fab years every single year, and we enjoy that link that we've got with them, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I just love how when we all gather there, we'd like getting the glitter on and the face paints on, the kids to just in. And do you remember, the year when it rained? The year when it rained.
Yeah.
And they were just brilliant, weren't they, the performers?
Yeah. I can remember waking up, and that was the year that we did ABBA Disco as our theme. And I woke up that Sunday morning feeling...
Did you?
Well, I had about 3 minutes sleep. And my mum was over here at the time. I remember she woke me up and she was like, "It's raining, don't you know?" And I was like, "I know, I can tell." And I woke up, and I'll be honest with you, I thought, "Oh, just cancel it." But we had a message from Rob and the team. They're like, "We've condensed the acts on the main stage and the cabaret stage. We're keeping Kinetic." And I can remember it was Kaz. She put in the group chat. She was really good at gearing everybody.
Yeah, she was.
Get your wellies on, get your glitter on, get there outside City Hall. We're going to do it. And then there was that mad moment of us reallocating who was going to be on the stage, who was going to be on the floor.
I remember it well.
I bet you do. And then we performed and the sun came out and everyone was up dancing. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Oh, and this year they're doing an online Pride, so it's going to be a week's worth of performance. So they've asked us to take part again for the 8th year. What we're doing yet, we don't know. But
here we go. Listen, everyone, telling us online. So that's the first we've heard of that.
Yeah, you'll get away with it then. Or you'll think you will.
So there we go. We look forward to seeing you all, as part of Pride 2020.
Cool.
So we're thinking about like the creative process behind all these like amazing shows that we do. Because as an audience member, I'm not saying anyone is this naive, but they rock up, enjoy the show, go fab. That's what we need our audience to do. The process and the work. There's so many theatre groups just in Cardiff. I take my hat off to every single one of them, for being in this industry, because it takes so much sheer hard work, grit and determination, just the process, just to bring it to life. Yeah. But if we're thinking about some of the shows that we've done in the past, what's been some of the most challenging shows that we've done creatively in terms of the process?
There's a few that spring to mind with me. Cats probably being one of them. Liz, I don't know whether you agree with it.
Yeah.
I think it was at that point where it was quite a challenge. It was a step into the unknown doing it. A lot of the kids weren't particularly familiar with it. Of course, it's all sung through, and there's that huge dance element to it, plus the fact that they have to be cats the entire time. So I think that was quite a challenge. Maybe not only for us, but for the performers as well.
Oh, look, there they are.
Rehearsing.
Yeah.
David.
Oh, that was in the old days when we were at St. David's.
Yeah. Good old St. David's, isn't it?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, look, we're about to throw Laura Dorks in the air.
Don't trip over the metal strip, everyone.
Oh, God. I've got cats from that.
Shall I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, one of the most challenging things I think, I reckon you'd agree, is, and it was in Cats as well, is you teach them the cast, the singing, like the ensemble numbers, and they know their harmonies, they can sing their harmonies, and then they go out, and I'm not going to say about the dance, Kris, I'm going to say even
about the dance.
spread yourselves out and they start acting or dancing, and you're like, where's the part singing from?
Yeah.
I know people wouldn't think it, but Rent was challenging for that. Definitely. When you think of Christmas bells and things like that, they were really tricky. But then the other thing about Rent was in the show itself, humongously long underscoring of the same thing. Oh, look, there's Rent. Hey, Matthew's good, isn't he? Humongously difficult, just the timing of that. So, yeah, that I would say those.
And I think from that, actually leading on from what Liz has just said, sorry, Kris, like with regards to the underscoring and stuff, when we put Legally Blonde with a company into the Welsh Call and the band was in a different space to the cast, that was quite a challenge with regard to audio and visual cues. And when we lost contact with them and we were needing to see who was doing what on stage and we couldn't hear the dialogue, we couldn't see them at certain points. So that was like.
And I think as well, on that note about, the challenge of putting a show in a venue, it's been really good because, since, we were really lucky this year to have Matt come on board with us as our videographer. Big shout out to Matt, who's been on that show as well. And he filmed, he's made a documentary behind the scenes for our last production, Ghost, which I'm going to talk about, the challenge of that in a moment. But he made a fab, documentary about capturing behind the scenes, which we're going to share with people over the next few weeks, so people can see just what it's like and the stress behind it and the reasons why I drink so much and have so little sleep. But I think
that's not the reason.
No, Emma's the reason. But in terms of like creative challenge and process, I think Ghost was one for me that I think was tricky. I think there's so many varying styles of dance. I mean, Ghost is a show that we were doing for the second time. Liz and I had done it once in college before. I think we had done some numbers from it in a review show at Kinetic before, the three of us. And it was a show that we had the right cast for, so we needed to get it right in everything that we did. And for me, I was, we went back and forth in terms of, shall we use projection? Shall we use set? Shall we use production? Shall we use set? And the music, such a beautiful score, which I fell in love with so many years ago. I mean, you can tell that that was written for, Annie Lennox to sing, Molly's part. But when Dave Stewart put that together. But in terms of the diversity and the variety of the music, it was making sure that every single song told a story, and it was very, very different because there was no two styles of dancing the same. There's contemporary stuff for I Had a Life, then into a big disco number for Out of Here, all the robotic mechanical movement for More. It was so varied, and just making sure the cast understood that, and that, and from a choreography perspective, that we got it right. I think that was quite a challenge.
And you did? Yeah, no, it's a fab show.
Yeah, it was a really, really good show.
What do you think with regards to the youth, Kris? Would be like
challenging things. I think actually when we did Into the Woods, because we took Into the Woods and we made it, and we did that show in 11 weeks, which was a little bit insane because we had just done Camp Rock in the March last year, and then we did Into the Woods, I think in the June.
Yeah.
We had 11 weeks, and it was only an 80-minute musical because it was a junior version, but we decided to make it very ensemble-based. We used the woods a lot as a metaphor, and trying to, get through to our amazingly talented youth performers. How do you communicate to an 8-year-old that you're playing a tree, but it's a metaphor for danger and things like that? But I think, they did a good job. It was
I mean, you put so many layers in and little nuances and stuff like that, in a scene that would really be just having 3 people in, and you brought in 50-odd people into the scene. I was like, how is it going to work, Kris? Oh, it'll work, it'll be fine. Anyway. When are they going to go on stage and how are they'll stay on?
Where's my cape?
I'm like, they can't hold that position for an hour.
Yes, they can. But that's our Kinetic youth. They're fab. They just
do whatever.
They are amazing. Anything we throw at them, they're like, yeah, I'll do that and I'll do it too.
Yeah.
As an observer of youth, the Kinetic youth shows, having been to see them all, I think.
Yeah.
Probably missed one, maybe. I can't remember. But I loved Alice. I just loved Alice. And I know it was ages ago, but it was such a spectacle.
What was it about Alice that you really enjoyed?
Because it's such a crazy land, isn't it? The Alice in Wonderland? Wonderland. It's so mad and crazy, and those kids really suited it.
Yeah.
And we have to say shout out to the girls, the Alices, because that was fab. And, you know, Theo as the caterpillar.
It was a beautiful set as well. I think that was one of the ones that we were...
Yeah.
It was a set up, I think.
That in itself, you know, this idea for this crazy set, and I know how I wanted it to look. And poor Jordana and Chloe Donnelly, who were stage managers, we were, the day of the dress rehearsal, we were in the garden in Willows where we were performing it, and we were painting trellis. I said to Jordana, I was like, she couldn't paint it quick enough for me to then build it on the set. And then I ordered this slide from Argos. Do you remember that slide? And I was like, really good if we have a slide on the set. That was never planned. It was never going to be a slide. That just came to me. And Jordana was like, fine, yeah, whatever. And then Hugh rocked up with his drill. I said, Hugh, that slide needs to go on there. Nobody ever bats an eyelid these days at Kinetic. He was like, right, okay. Then I made Emma test it. I was like, if it holds Emma, we'll all be fine.
Yeah, hello, that's my dog.
Kris, you're frozen.
So yeah, Kris,
Kris, you're frozen.
Oh, well, let's have a look. So what about landmark shows then? The ones that, like, you know, marked a point in time for Kinetic?
Yeah. Well, I've mentioned Cats already being, from an artistic point of view, I think it elevated our performance and made us think a little bit more about our show choices from that point onwards. But obviously another one that sticks out with regards to the company is Chorus Line, because that was the first point where we'd gone into the Welsh College, and obviously that was like, well, we're in a different space now. How can we develop from here? What are we holding on to? Look at the potential that we've got in our hands now.
I agree. For me, I mean, Cats was, I think, because that was the last show we did at St. David's as well, wasn't it? When we had to move on to somewhere else. But it was like, I remember when we decided to do Cats, it was like, whoa, this is completely different. We've done
Grease and
what a difference to those two shows, you know, and the singing was mad in it, wasn't it? It was mental, and then getting them to dance at the same time. Oh,
yeah, God. I know, exactly. And remember, just like, it was so wordy as well, wasn't it, Cass? Getting them to remember all those
Who did the top C in the end?
Harry, I think.
Kerry Dwyer. Shout out to Kerry Dwyer as well. And then, I suppose... Yeah, definitely a chorus line, because it was our first one at Royal Welsh. And I think we really stretched the performance for that. That was like a mega ask of them. Do you remember when we got to the what do you call it? The bows. But the bows go on for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, they are so long. So
long.
And
teaching the dance to that. Oh, my God.
And if you think about the fact that they never left the stage either, and what a challenge that must be to them.
Yeah.
So, you know, what about, from my perspective with regards to the youth, and, you know, maybe because you've come to see all of them, Camp Rock was probably one of the ones that stands out as well, because again, we had such a young cast doing that show with the live bands and things like that, and I think they really elevated their performance with that in a completely contrasting way to Into the Woods, obviously, but you know, I think it was one of the standout moments with the youth.
It was an amazing, I mean, I was in the band for that, wasn't I?
Oh yeah, of course you did.
And do you remember my keyboard on the stand, and then the stand broke? Right.
Oh yeah, it was that kind. Yeah.
Jack Davis, shout out to Jack Davis, went back to your place to get a new one.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't really see, because I went back to them, but it was brilliant, a brilliant show. I loved it. I didn't know it really until then.
No, but they really did well with that.
It's the story of our lives, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I suppose, what would Kris say? Oh, he's back! Look at that! I just said, what would Kris say for the landmark show? He's back. We've said we'll talk about Cats, because that was pretty much, you know, the point at which we did something completely different, and it also marked the point at which we were told we couldn't use St. David's anymore, which was scary, but turned out to be an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
Talked about Chorus Line. So what about, and Camp Rock? So what about your kind of landmark show?
I think for me, I think when I said when we got to Welsh Call, I know you said about, when there's been certain times and things that we've done. Yes, I think, like you said about Cats, that definitely was. But I think when we got to Welsh Call and we did Chorus Line, I think that was a really, really important time for us. I think we had a really great cast for Chorus Line. It was scary being in Welsh Call for the first time. I mean, it's not now, it is our home. It was working with a new technical team. But I think that I think people knew about Kinetic and everyone's got their opinion. But I think then people actually started to respect a lot more of what we did. And I think from there, the shows have, continued to get,
Oh, what? Come back.
Again.
You keep freezing in ridiculous positions as well.
I know. I think he was going to say the shows have got better and better. I'll take the words out of his mouth, and I assume he was going to say that.
Yeah, but it's true, isn't it? Because if you look back, they look so young in a Chorus Line. You guys looked so young in the show when we did that. Now when we look at it, but I think we definitely them as performers really progressed, and I suppose when you think about it, where we got from a Chorus Line, we recruited quite a few new people, didn't we? Lower six kind of age, like Morgan, Jack Davis, lots, and some of the older lot. Toria came back as well, didn't she, for that one? But then those younger ones, we had them for that period of time, and they're brilliant. You guys had a brilliant experience going through those shows, culminating in Chicago for some of them, So and then Ghost for others. So we said you were going to say they progressed and they got better and better.
And I suppose it's having that opportunity for them and for us, isn't it? To be able to showcase ourselves in such a grand scale. I think that's been amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Legally was a springboard as well. Let's face it, in many, many ways. Legally was.
And I think Legally was a commercial, huge success for us. It was the first show that we had done which completely sold out. I think we're going to see a clip of it now as well. There we are. It completely sold out, and which was insane. With waiting lists in the set for it was.
I've got 2 pictures of you with no voice.
I know.
So the set was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Were you? Oh no, you were up. No, so it was quite an expensive set, wasn't it? We didn't use half of it in the end.
No, I think and I think that's the thing that we've learned, or where we are in the process of still learning. Probably is trying to choose shows that appeal to an audience, appeal to the performer, and is cost effective, and we can break even something.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it was a huge commercial success, but it's probably one of the shows that gave us the most stress, let's say. Because it was, it was a bigger show than we expected it to be, I think. And it was good. It turned out all positive in the end, though.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. So while we wait for Kris to come back then, if you weren't doing this, if you weren't MD and teaching... he's back. What would you be doing in your life? What would you do in your life if you weren't doing what you're doing now?
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess before Kinetic came along, I performed more. I sang in choirs and went on choir tours and things like that. So I was busy, not as busy as I am with Kinetic, obviously, but it was kind of from the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So I performed instead of putting on performances. So
after you graduated, what were there any other choices, or were you always going to do music?
No. So when I was 18, I applied to do psychology as well as music. At one point, I did want to be a lawyer. Then I wanted to do criminal psychology.
You'd have been a scary lawyer.
I would do, but I probably would have bailed Kris out of a few things, wouldn't I? And then I opted to do a music degree then. And then after I did the music degree, I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. I toyed with music therapy, and then I sort of fell into doing my PGCE. And it went from there basically. And like I said, I did go travelling after my first 2 years of teaching for 10 months or so. And then I came back in 2003, and that's to show my age. And yeah, I've sort of been over Llanrymney, Eastern Way for the last however many years that is, a long time.
Nice. Are you with us, Kris? I can't tell. You're sitting very still.
Yeah, I'm here.
I do know what I need to tell you, actually, I'm going to say. Before I graduated, no, when I was in school, I wanted to be a nun.
Oh, Sister Mary Clarence.
But I think it was because I went to a convent school primary school, and I knew some really, really nice nuns. That sounds terrible. Anyway, that didn't last. So then I finished. Oh, I remember going to the careers. This is a long time ago, 35 years ago, maybe. Yeah, longer probably. No, longer. And you always have that careers appointment, and they'd be like, so what do you want to do, Elizabeth? I said, I think I want to be a musician. Oh dear, we don't know anything about that. It's like, oh, no dear. Anyway, I didn't do that. The other thing I would have done was textiles. I know I go on about it. I go on about
skills have come in really handy.
Yeah, that's true.
I love the sewing machine.
But to be honest, yeah, I kind of fell into my PGCE a bit as well. By the time I got to the end of my degree, I was like, I'll do a PGCE. My dad was a musician. My mum was a teacher and musician. Hey, I'll combine the two.
Genius. Yeah.
Kris, go for it. How about you, love?
I don't know, there was never a grand plan, as with most things, which won't surprise anyone.
No.
But I can remember really enjoying the world of theatre. I mean, I was sent when I was younger to get rid of my energy and things like that. And then I thought, when everyone was making their decisions on what to go to university, I thought, well, it just seemed quite natural to do that. And I thought, we'll see where that would take me. I had some amazing opportunities as part of my degree course to do some fab directing experience.
Yeah.
And I just thought, this would be quite fun. And I thought, well, just combine the two, directing, teaching. I didn't always think that I'd want us to have a theatre company. That was never the plan. So I just kind of winged it for the last, several years. And really,
do you remember last? Sorry, go on.
There was never any other plan. There was never if this doesn't work, I'll do that. And then when it became just this, I was like, there's never a question of it not working. You'll work hard enough so it does work.
So, question for you both. Most or a memorable moment, positive, nothing, keep it clean, moment from uni, from the course itself, not going out, socialising.
Oh, God.
It can be funny, it can be...
well, this is kind of related to a little bit of going out.
Mine is funnily enough.
But I learned a valuable lesson from this. So it's kind of, it's got a good message. So we had dance every single morning at 8:30. And I can remember every Wednesday night was the student union night. It was called BOP. And it was a legendary night. You'd go out, have a little, shandy or three. And I can remember we decided to go back to somebody's for a house party. And this is in my first year. And it was in the first few weeks. And we were so hungover in our dance class. And we were doing lifts. And I dropped my dance partner. And I dropped her. And we were giggling, fell around on the floor laughing. And so punishment, we had to clean all the mirrors in all the dance studios. And I was hungover again, but I never let it show.
Nice.
Yeah, mine is similar. I blame Liz Oliver, totally, if you're watching Liz Oliver. But we didn't even have a dance class, we had a conducting class, and that was just
That explains a lot why you missed conducting classes.
Very much entirely. So I only had to go next door. That was my hall was next door to my music building. And that was just such a rough and long conducting lesson ever. And I just remember thinking, why is just this movement of my hand making me feel so ill?
Nice.
What about you, Liz?
I don't know. I haven't got anything like that, to be honest.
I'm a good girl, I am.
I am a good girl. No, that's not the case, but that was more later on. No. Massive. It's boring, but doing like the massive concerts at St David's Hall when we did Vaughan Williams Sea Symphony and singing in the choir, that kind of thing. That was amazing. I was never a confident. I singing fine in a choir, but like performing, my most dreaded thing ever. We used to do these lunchtime recitals, concerts, and it was actually because I specialised in composition, so it was actually something I'd composed. But I was playing it. I was so nervous performing because there were so many really, 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 really good musicians and performers. And I always, not so much these days, thanks to you two and Kinetic, but I've always kind of doubted my ability. So, but the positive would be singing in that choir and doing those amazing concerts.
Yeah, they're experiences that stay with you for life.
Yeah. I mean, I did Beethoven's Ninth when I was in uni, and that was like an amazing, amazing experience.
That's quite boring, though, isn't it?
No, I loved it. I did, to be honest with you. Tell you what I did find boring was doing the Messiah for the first time, considering I'd always gone to see it with my parents at Christmas time in the Brandon Hall, and then I was part of it, and I was so excited to be part of it, and I was.
No way, it's amazing.
I just thought, how could I sit through this though? Because it was so long.
No. My favourite time I've sung the Messiah is where I was singing alto and tenor, like helping out the tenors. That was isn't it interesting how different things appeal to different people?
But I performed in it like a few times since then, but I've never been and sat as part of the audience because I thought I wouldn't have the patience to do that.
Oh, well, there we go.
It's fun, isn't it? So, like, think about, we do so much. How would you say that we kind of like fit, Kinetic into our everyday life?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because having kind of everything else stopped, you think, how did we do that? I mean, you just do.
Yeah.
And you'd say, well, you have to be super organised. And yes, the important things like your school or college work, you have to be super organised and have that all sorted in advance. And obviously what we're doing with Kinetic. I mean, I suppose because we know we've done so many rehearsals up to shows, haven't we, that we know how that process works, if you know what I mean. So it doesn't take too much planning.
Yeah, we've got it down to a bit of a fine art, I think. I mean, we do a lot, and people who are watching, the performers who've taken part in it, parents and audience members, you think, we constantly get asked that question, how do you fit it all in? I suppose when it's a passion, yes, it's work, and it is tiring, and it does, take a large amount of time. When you're passionate about something, you see all the energy that our performers and our musicians and our crews give us, it's impossible not to give that back and then some. So it doesn't feel like work. It's you make everything fit. Sometimes at the lack of sleep or eating or anything really. But I think we're quite good at making things work.
I think our fridges look quite similar, don't they, when we're busy doing everything?
Yeah.
Water in mine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. And a pot of hummus. There's always a pot of hummus. Maybe some chicken.
Yeah.
And then maybe a bottle of wine. Oh, not in the fridge because we like red.
Yeah.
But we've all got people that help out, and we, and like we couldn't do it without them, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're really lucky to have such an amazing team, and I think it's worth for us to talk about that quickly, about the fact that yes, there's us three, but then we've got a team of teachers, facilitators, workshop leaders, technical people, musicians, people in the venues that help us, parents who come and help us backstage.
I was going to say the volunteers, parents and things. I mean, let's shout out to Colin.
It's Colin's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Colin! And wasn't yesterday Nick Tonch's birthday? I know we're starting something.
Yes.
Birthday. And Verity and Lisa have been this week as well.
I know. It's a crazy week. But yeah, you're right. All those people, Chris.
Yeah, it's insane because they are and we are the Kinetic family, you know. I mean, we say that a lot. There was a term that came from the performers originally, but, you know, we are so fortunate and lucky. And that links into what we just said. We are able to do so much because we've got, you know, we feel that support, and that energy is absolutely insane. We're so fortunate.
I'd like to do one shout out as well on that topic, and that's to Lanish and Co-op.
Yes.
It's always handy, isn't it, on the way home?
Second that. I miss it so much during lockdown. I'm not packing a Chardonnay and vinegar crisps for like weeks and weeks and weeks.
That sounds disgusting. Hey, listen, I think that Matt has got some pictures of our graduation. He's got.
Oh no!
That he might be putting up in a minute. So prepare.
Oh,
yes, look. Pawsey!
Oh no!
Look at me, all prim and proper.
I know. Oh.
Can I just say I made that? There's a skirt and a blouse, and I made them.
Did you? I didn't make any of my outfit. I was so hungover in that photo.
That doesn't surprise me.
You don't? No, you don't look it. Ella Pawsey, I never knew you looked like that.
Did your hair like that about 5 years ago?
I'm not going to be able to walk down the streets ever again.
That's so cute, you two.
There's a certain woman who wears that shade of lipstick, that's all I'm saying.
Look at my hair. It's like a George Michael thing going on, isn't it? Because it was the 80s. You were born then as well.
Yeah. What year was that in the 80s?
85.
Oh, when was your graduation?
When were you born, Crowley?
1985.
Oh, no! I was graduated the year you were born.
Yeah, but you've regressed in years now, do you know?
Yeah. You're only 2 now.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Like, so we said about, you know, what, you know, life, you know, what else would we be doing, you know? Think about what life was like before we had this crazy, you know, Kinetic empire, if you will. What, you know, it was insane, wasn't it?
Empire.
So, like, you know, like obviously you were singing and you were doing a lot more performance stuff.
I wasn't doing any.
No, because obviously it was a return to music for you, wasn't it?
So, I mean, I stopped. Well, I did a little bit of teaching music when I was a deputy. Oh, and when I was a head, actually, or when I was in West Sussex, but not a lot. And you kind of in your head, I left that behind so long ago.
Yeah.
But I never thought I'd be returning to it. In fact, I didn't go to concerts. I wasn't interested in music. I literally thought, that's it. That's it. Oh, and listen, my mate Linda, if she was here, she would tell you, I used to say to her, I can't see the point in doing musicals in school. What educational value do they have? Literally, I used to say that years ago. Not when I was here, not when I was ahead.
No. Isn't it the paths that things take us on?
Yeah, and now I can see how much benefit there is in, you know, just in so many ways, not just in the performance skills, but you know, in just working together, finding solutions to things, having routines, setting your station up for getting your costumes, all of that. It's just incredible. So yeah, I wasn't doing anything musical until I went to St. David's, and then I think it was a year later I had that phone call from you. Or text. No, text. You never phone.
No, I think me and Emma are on the train to Bristol, to the train where we were working on a Saturday. Hi, Juliet. And Juliet and Bump.
Yes! Exciting.
And we needed another MD, and there was nobody else for the job, really.
Oh, you mean you couldn't find anyone else? Couldn't think of anyone else. We asked Liz, she'll have to do.
It just, you know, and it just, you know, it's been insane since. You know, it's been you know, right across the board. You know, everything that we've done. Obviously, the Youth Academy, which we set up in the second year, didn't we? You know, just, you know, gone. You know, a huge shout out to our Youth Academy performers who work so hard, and we do, you know, a lot in a very short space of time. We see them 4 times a week.
Mad.
And, then obviously we went ahead and opened, Liz and I opened the theatre school, and we used Marlborough School around the corner from me here. And I had the hall, obviously, and Liz had to teach in a corridor.
It was a little lobby right by the door, and it was freezing.
And the leaves used to blow in.
That's I think that's one of the downsides of being like a musical director, the little places we get shoved into to rehearse and practice.
Yeah. The duvet room at St. Peter's.
The duvet room.
With the spooky doll.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I always need a hall. See, I always need space.
Yeah, you say that. Sometimes, to be fair, sometimes at Studio One you go up in the kitchen.
I do go up in the kitchen.
But when you do, we'd let you know about it because it's really, really loud. Sorry. Sorry, children.
Yeah, and that's, we grew from theatre school there, where we had a handful of performers, and I can't remember what year we're into theatre school now. 4, I think, is it? The 4th year of it. We're going to be celebrating our end of term awards, for the 4 years, it is 4 years. In a few weeks' time. It's amazing. And all the Kinetic Connect work we're doing with all our schools and all the links we keep on forging. It's just so important at this time more than ever, to engage young people through the medium of the arts and creativity. It's great for well-being, great to express themselves, and we have a great time doing it as well.
Absolutely. And when you think, we got to, I think when lockdown started and we started being really creative, doing You Will Be Found and lip syncing and all sorts, and then it all kind of went, where are we going with this? But actually, we know that our young people, whatever age, need to keep on working on those skills, whether they've got the opportunity in a live, in real life, if you like, or online. So we've always risen to a challenge, haven't we, whatever that's been. And some people might see it as a disaster, and we go, okay, right, how can we make this work? And we're doing that now, and I'd urge all those performers to take the opportunity and join us.
And I suppose we jumped on the online performance just as lockdown happened, didn't it? It was the week of lockdown, and I think it was the Wednesday before the schools closed, and we kind of knew that it was the beginning of us having to down tools, and we wanted to do something to kind of see us into that lockdown period, and that's where we come up with the idea of performance, and we named that project Out of the Darkness. Then I think you suggested the idea about the choir, and we've done those with the youth, with the company, and it's and we've done an awful lot in a very short space of time.
Yeah.
But not afraid to kind of be bold with it and blaze that trail and go, you know what, let's give it a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but let's give it a go. Let's keep all our performers busy, entertained, creative, because it's a long time not to do anything for.
Yeah. And the thing they got to remember is that, we are going to be returning at some point, so they need to keep all those skills sharp.
Yeah, definitely.
As do we.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, exciting things to come, and people should watch out for those, I think, Kris.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of great stuff we've got coming up for you. I mean, just very briefly in terms of, where we're going next with things, we're going to, as, the weeks progress now, we're with the Youth Academy and with the Musical Theatre Company, we're going to be meeting regularly for regular weekly rehearsals to engage in our rehearsal material, and which I contacted the Youth Academy about this evening. We're going to be doing this thing with the company, giving you a plan of an idea of where we're going, what we're doing. It's an opportunity for other people to get involved as well. And theatre school performers have been working really, really hard. And the new projects we're doing, the schools projects, and our new actor, drama masterclasses as well. So there's lots of people who can get involved in. It's fun.
Good luck. Look at the time.
I know.
We've done an hour of us chatting nonsense, basically.
It's been really, really good, isn't it? Just to provide, that little bit of insight into kind of what we do. And it's really nice to kind of take that time out to look back over the last 7 years and go, look, what we do. We're always in the middle, in the nucleus of everything. And it's really nice. I'm really, really proud of all our performers and of us and everything we've achieved. just before we cut to our performance at the end, Matthew, have we got any questions that we need to answer?
No, I don't think. I think we're good to go straight to our performance.
Fabulous. So thank you very much for joining us this evening. I've been Kris Crowley, and I've loved being with you this evening.
And I'm Liz York. Thanks for coming.
And I'm Emma Pawsey, and I'm going to hand over to the fabulous Taylor Morris, and we're going to say goodnight, and it's over to Taylor. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Of Kinetic School of Performing Arts. It was nice listening to their first sort of chat show this week. There's going to be more after this week, so please check the Facebook page for whenever the next one is. It's been nice talking about like past shows, future aspirations and stuff. And I'm actually going to delve back into the past for any old Kinetic members, or some people might still be here, they've just been here for ages. I'm going to be singing I Can't Stand Still from Footloose, which is a bit of a throwback for some people. But yeah, thanks again, Kinetic, Kris, Liz, for asking me to perform. I've loved doing these live streams. I've done them a few times now, and I think I'm getting used to them. But yeah, I'm really scared that we're going over. I don't think we are, but I don't want to be the one that makes us go over. So I'm going to start now. Thanks, guys. This is I Can't Stand Still from Footloose. I never walk when I can run. I don't believe I ever could. People try to slow me down, saying, boy, you really should kick back and chill, but I can't stand still. I called the doctor, he said, son, I cannot offer you a pill. So I never found relief, and now I've got to move until I've had my bill. I can't stand still. Back where I come from, life's never humdrum. I wish I could take it there. Oh, we had the world at our feet. Life was sweet, ain't no doubt. Grab a seat, check it out. Oh, I thought it never would end, but I've lost it somehow. Well, just look at me now. I'm trying hard to tone it down. Gotta watch my P's and Q's. Maybe look before I leave. And then I think, hey, what's the use? Ain't done it yet. I can't forget how it feels when you dance till you drop. So don't even start to suggest that I'll stop. I never will. I can't. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I can't stand still. Oh no. Oh, it's gonna play again. Ah, no. There we go. There we are, guys. Thanks for joining in on the live stream today. It was really nice to see so many people supporting. I was there. It was lush just listening to him talk about everything Kinetic, ins and outs. But yeah, oh my god, my hair, I am sweating. Right, I'm going to go now, just in case we're going over, because I can't actually see the time. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one. Bye.
Say the life's too short.